Okay, this is Module 8, Lesson 2, Write and Evaluate Numerical Expressions for Situations. It's just a fancy way of saying we're going to be doing orders of operations. This is on page 240. Make sure you are following along. First, let's look at the vocab. We have two vocabulary words here. One is right here. The parts of an expression that are added or subtracted are called terms. And over here, a numerical expression is an expression that contains only numbers and operations. So this right here are examples of numerical expressions. Number 1, we're going to do A, B, C, and D for number 1. And I'm going to be doing it right over here. And for the sake of writing nicely, let's get this out. So we're on Build Understanding, and this is page 240. 1A. How many terms does the expression 14 plus 9 have? They have 2 because they are 14 and 9. How do you know this? Because, I cannot type today, because 14 and 9 are added together. 1B. How many terms does the expression 6 plus 20 minus 9 have? There are 3. We have 6, 20, and 9. And how do I know? Because let's see, 6 and 20 are added together. And 9 is subtracted by the sum. 1C. The expression 25 plus, in parentheses, 4 times 5 has blank terms. It has 2 terms because if we look back up here at the definition of a term, the parts of an expression that are added are subtracted. So if it's multiplying, it's not 1. So let's say what they are next. It says, namely blank. So we're going to be right in that blank. You're going to do 25 and then in parentheses 4 times 5 because it is a sum of those expressions. So far in this blank right here where my mouse is, you're putting 2. Right here you're putting 25, and then this right here you're putting 25 and 4 times 5, which is parentheses. And in this blank you are writing the word sum, which is right there. Okay, let's move on to the next part of it. The expression 4 times 5 has 2 factors because you're multiplying, namely 4 and 5. So you're writing factors right here. You're writing 4 and 5 right here because it is a product, which you're writing product there of those expressions. Let's look at 1D. The expression 7/10 minus 11/20 has 2 terms. Even though they are fractions, they are still numbers, so we have to write these ones out. So since I'm typing, I'm going to have to use the slash bar to make it a fraction. So I have 7 over 10 and 11 over 20. So right here you're writing 2. Right here you're writing 7 over 10. Right here you're writing 11 over 20. Because it is a difference of those expressions. Remember, a term is when you're adding or subtracting. So in the last blank right here, you're writing difference. The fraction, I'm right here, expression 7/10 is also a quotient. So quotient goes there because it represents 7 divided by 10. Instead of writing out the word divided by right here, if you'd rather just write the division sign, that's fine. Okay, that's everything there is for 1. Let's look at 2. 2 only has A and B. Let me go one down further. There we go. How can you write a numerical expression to represent a phrase? Consider the phrase, the product of 7 and the sum of 5 plus 4. The sum of 5 and 4 is written as, remember the sum is an answer to an addition problem, so 5 plus 4 is what we're going to write there, right on this line. The product of 7 and the sum of 5 plus 4 is written as 7 times, in parentheses, 5 plus 4. So I took what I wrote right here because I had the sum of 5 plus 4. So I'm taking 5 plus the sum of 5 plus 4, which I'm adding them together. And the product means I'm going to be multiplying. So I have 7 times, in parentheses, 5 plus 4. Or you could write that as 7 times 5 plus 4 because parentheses also mean multiplication. I would take either way there. So this one is 2A. I forgot to put A there, sorry. And then let's look at 2B. So you need to make sure you're using your reading skills for these so you can visualize what you're doing. This one, consider the phrase, the square of the difference of 9 and 3. First, they're going to want us to write the difference of 9 and 3. Difference means we're subtracting. So we're going to take the difference of 9 minus 3. And then the next one, the square of the difference. So I'm putting 9 minus 3 in parentheses, and then I'm going to square it. And so we're going to write a little, let me get this on here, a little 2 right up here. I had to put in parentheses because I wanted the square of the entire problem, not just the 3. If I did not put the parentheses on it, I would just be squaring the 3, but I want the whole entire thing. Okay, let's turn to page 241, and we're going to look at number 3. Okay, so this has a lot of stuff on it, and if you don't understand the first time I say it, pause it and go back if you need to. If you need to listen to it a couple times, that's fine. You learned about the orders of operations in a previous grade. Now we will need to add exponents into our orders of operations. Exponents are calculated after performing operations in parentheses or brackets. The correct order of operations has been used to evaluate the given expressions. Identify the operation used in each step. Our key vocabulary word is evaluate. That means we're just going to solve it. This right here is your orders of operations that you'll follow. So you're going to go parentheses, exponents, then you have multiplication and division. Sometimes you'll do division first. Sometimes you'll do multiplication first. It's like you're reading. Whatever comes first, you're going to do first. And then you'll go down to addition and subtraction from left to right. Sometimes you'll do addition first. Sometimes you'll do subtraction first. You're just solving from left to right. And now let's look at this right here. We're going to, the correct order of operations has been used to evaluate the given expressions. Identify the operation used in each step. So to make it easier on us for it, I snipped the picture and I put it over here, and I'm going to make it really big. So in your book, make sure you're keeping it on this page so you can follow along with the orders of operations, but I'm going to make it big so we can see it. So for A here, first we're going to look for, remember, some sayings that you guys may have heard before is please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, to remember them. So P, are there parentheses? There are no parentheses. So the first thing, it actually tells you what to do here. Evaluate the exponents. So what we're going to do, that's the first thing. I like to circle, and you guys will be doing that too, so I can follow along. This is actually 3 to the third here. It's hard for you to see. I don't know why that 3 didn't transfer very well. And so when I write 3 to the, I actually am not even solving this. We're just going through the orders. So 3 to the thirds is the first thing we do. So there's no parentheses. We did exponents. Their next step is multiplication and division. If I look on this, there is multiplication and division. I'm going to circle what I'm doing. So I'm going to multiply next. So right here, I'm going to write multiply. Our next thing we're going to do is the last thing we have left is adding, and I'm going to circle what we're going to do, and I expect you to be circling what you're going to do. So that's all I did on that one. On this next one, it didn't give us the starting point, so we have to look at our orders of operation chart unless you have it memorized. So the first thing we look for is parentheses. There are parentheses, so I'm going to circle my parentheses. So I'm going to write parentheses right here. Oops, if I can spell it right. Okay, my parentheses are gone. If I look at my orders of operation, next thing I look for are exponents. There are exponents here, so I'm going to circle exponents. And I'm going to write exponents because that's what I did next. We did parentheses. We did exponents. Now we're going to look at multiplication and division. We're going to look from left to right. Whatever comes first is what we're doing first. So we're actually going to do division first. So I'm going to circle division, and I'm going to write division. And then we still have multiplication. So I'm going to circle the multiplication, and I'm going to write multiplication. And the last thing that we have left over is adding, so we're going to write add or addition, whatever you want to write there. When we are actually solving this and not just writing the steps out, I am expecting you to go step by step like this one is doing. Okay, let's take a look at C. Okay, first thing we're going to do, we start with parentheses, so let's circle where the parentheses are. We're going to write parentheses. After parentheses come exponents, so let's circle our exponents. Yes, you have to circle them. Circling is not going to kill you. It shows you what you did later. There are no multiplication and division. So you're going to go to the next one, and we're going to be solving left to right. So the first thing we're going to do is add. We're still going left to right because subtraction and addition are in the same step. We're going to subtract. And our last thing, I guess it would help if I wrote subtract all the way out, sorry. The last thing we're going to do is add, and we'll wrap that problem up. Okay, we're on page 242 now, number 3. Let me make this screen small. Number 4. A staff member is buying beds for all the dogs in a shelter. There are 10 dogs in one building and 14 dogs in another building. The price of a bed is shown. So right over here, $12. Complete the numerical expression to find the total cost. So the beds cost $12, so that's going to go on the outside. Then on the inside, we have 10 in one building and 14 in the next building. So for B, how many terms are there in the parentheses? There are 2. For C, the first step on this would be parentheses. For D, after parentheses, you will be multiplying. And we'll take 12 times 24 because 10 plus 14 is 24. 12 times 24 is 288.